Hey guys, welcome to another week in DSP. I want to start things off by saying I'm not getting lazy. It's just this last week, there wasn't a whole lot that happened. I think the biggest news was Ask the King, and the big news was everything that went down yesterday on September 24th. So that would be a new week in DSP video. And it actually is big news that it might warrant a separate video, but I know already not to count your chickens before they hatch with DSP, because one pay pig may go away and a new one will swoop in to save the day. I made it rhyme in the end, and that's what counts. In case you guys didn't know, Kiwi Farms was taken down briefly, and Noel made a post that had something to do with about hardening the server against future attacks like this. There was a link to it. I couldn't find it when I sat down to make this video. We're also going to start off with something that's not 100% news, but it is some interesting speculation. This is from Diabetic SP, and they're pointing out, I miss cat food on Instagram. I bet she doesn't cook for him anymore even. Remember the good old days when she'd make brownies and cook dinner. And this is an interesting thing to point out, because Phil said at first he wasn't going to show her off a whole lot, and then he showed her off a whole lot, and then we discovered through the Subaru and the ex-boyfriend, now he's kept her completely off camera and barely mentions her. But food isn't anything that would reveal her past. But the fact that she doesn't cook for him anymore, we can glean that information maybe from the Instagram that she doesn't cook for him anymore, or Phil doesn't want to show her off anymore. Either way, it could be, I'm putting on my thankful cap here, it could be the relationship taking a downturn. They're neither very good human beings, in my opinion, so I don't care. If Kat cheats on Phil with another guy, Phil deserves it. If they break up, they deserve it. Neither of them deserve any abuse from each other or the internet at large. They're both scumbags in their own way. Kat for cheating on a boyfriend with DSP of all beings, and probably looking to use DSP like she may have used previous boyfriends in the past. So I'm not a fan of either of them in that regard. From Actually, this is his fans showing actual discontent in the chat. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people know that, I use the a lot of people, that if you do express anything remotely negative in Phil's chat, you kind of get the axe, or you get that ass swagged, as like Thanos Swaggins likes to say. Now I think he's saying, get that ass snapped. Huh, because he's Thanos, get it? Did you guys see Infinity War? Huh? Anyways, what's interesting to point out here is Thanos Swaggins is part of some of this discontent going on in the chat. I'm not going to read the whole dialogue here because it's a lot of lines. I'm not cool like Tevin and have a robot that will read out the voices for us. But the post is in my document in the description, which has a link to all of these. And it's all directed at Phil being obviously money grubbing and money focused. So a lot of people are kind of, I said a lot of people again. Please don't turn into Phil, Bill. Please don't. But Phil's visage, his mask of positivity, guys, is starting to crack because he's just getting loads and loads of money. It's the only thing he does anything for. Now, there isn't any particular link to go with this. If you guys scroll through from this page forward, which is 3,506, people like Ratko Falcon and others are talking about being bored. I don't watch his current stuff from Piece of Shit. It has gotten boring. And you guys will see my last week's video was under an hour, which is the first time probably since I started doing this I kept it under an hour. And to give you a sneak peek later on, look at all this blank space between the days. Like Tuesday I have 2 links because there's only 2 things I can really see to point out. And I've included memes in this week's Week in DSP to try to flesh it out a little bit more. Because I think somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour might be my sweet spot. I don't know. but there's just nothing going on. It's just Phil sitting and laughing as Tut showers money over him. And that's what lot of other Kiwis are talking about. Now, as we're talking about how important money is, Johnny5150 points out here, this is a screen cap of Phil's tweet, which is a screen cap of his YouTube feed, which shows Shadows of the Tomb Raider being demonetized. I don't know if it's gone back and been remonetized. I didn't see that when I went through the news here. I would have included it if I saw anything on Kiwi Farms that pointed that out. But it's important to note that, hey, we're in the big hardcore gaming season, aka the hardcore begging season. And one of the newest games that's come out, Shadows of the Tomb Raider. Oh, look, hey, I can't make any YouTube money off of it. So the only money he's going to get from this gameplay is on Twitch. So why even bother having a YouTube at this point? And why bother bitching about YouTube at this point? So, it's wonderful. I don't know if this happened last week, but there were people asking about Third Eye the Third being banned. And I think the logs come from the 5th of this month, so it's even a couple weeks ago. But it really comes down to Phil just defending Sidella. And you will see Phil shielding Sidella came into play really hard yesterday with the Jake Likes Cats, King Tut's, and Swaggin's breakdown. So I'm sure there's other people who've already covered this. Mine's going to come out next week. It's really a crazy situation in my opinion. But it really just comes down to Phil trying to troll shield Sidella. Now this post from Diabetic SP again. It's so nice that Swaggins gave Phil all that money just to get cucked by a bigger pay pig. And now all he has is being a mod without any of the attention because people have moved on to better memes. Nobody pays him any attention, and Phil doesn't notice him because he's not wailing. What a sad, pathetic bitch Swaggins is, and the best part is Swaggins knows it. 1000% true. That's why you see Swaggins always throws jabs at King Tut in chat, and you go back to the events that happened yesterday. Tut even called out Swaggins as part of the reason why he's leaving. Sorry, I'm giving you guys a glimpse into the future, but I just can't pretend like I don't have this knowledge. Swaggins was trying to say he's never taken jabs at King Tut. But we know from these previous 3 weeks, since August, Swaggins has immediately been on top. And Swaggins will show up every once in a while and drop $200 on Phil and just be like, I need to be higher on the leaderboard. I don't like being number 2. Speaking of Sidella, he's shown up with a new sock account. Supposedly, it's Donald123468. I don't know if that's Donald as in Kingdom Hearts Donald or Donald as in Donald Trump. Hard to tell with this particular individual. But from Haunter, quoting Saiganara, can someone verify the username? I'm suspecting it's Sidella, judging by the poor writing. I saw the guy too. If he's a troll, he knows his shit. Because Donald said in chat, well, Phil was surprised the gunplay actually good. I got 3 kills, no wins yet. And then Sidella on Twitter, tweeting at Battle Royale Call of Duty, I love it. Got 3 kills, no wins so far. Maybe this mode will get me first place. Can't wait for the release. So it'd be really interesting if there's a troll who's following Sidella on Twitter and making the stories line up between the two. Or more likely, it is actually Sidella. And again, it's pretty obvious to us and people in Phil's chat. But again, going back to what happened yesterday, Phil thinks Sidella has been permanently banned from Twitch and is no longer on the website. Yeah, like that keeps people from making sock accounts and showing up again, which he fully is aware of, but he's just completely memory holing it so that way he can defend himself and his other pay pigs while he's losing King Tut's support. So that was Monday. Tuesday, September 18th, takes place on page 3507. And there's not a lot of news here. Look, 2 links. This will be my shortest segment probably ever until I find one that's just 1 link or 0 links. Dave currently has 130 viewers right now from Ratco Falco. And the reason why I wanted to point this out is because after King Tut's generous donations to Phil and gifted subs, he was in arm's reach of 1,200 subs, 1,200 subs. And he can barely pull a little more than a tenth of that. And from Actually Again, know how I know Phil isn't hurting for money? Second stream tonight got him maybe $10 to $20 total. That's cheers, subs, and tips. Not a peep about it being a slow night. Go watch my last week in DSP, and you will see when shit was slow. Even getting $100, $120, he would still say, wow, what a slow stream. He's coming back in Tuesday night. He only got $20 at the upper end of the estimate and actually does really good work with his number crunching. Something to keep in mind when he starts begging again. So I've already hinted at Tut leaving. So we know the money's gone, is going to be gone, unless Tut turns around and comes back. But hey, Phil thought that was going to last forever, so he could handle nights where he only got $10, $20 a night. Could you imagine working an 8-hour shift? Okay, Phil is probably closer to 6, maybe 5.5 hours, but still, okay, so a part-time shift, and only taking home $20. That's like $4 an hour. You might want to consider getting a job at McDonald's. Wednesday, September 19th, takes place on page 3,508. And like I said, one page for a day, that's pretty low in the Phil news world. This is kind of how I measure how much shit's going on. Because if something big blows up, then the forums kind of explode with a lot of pages. And we're going to start things off with the announcement of the PlayStation 1 Classic. This is from Nothing I Can Do. Again, a frequent visitor to this video series. I have no disposable income. Please tip me re. There's a PlayStation 1 Classic, a miniature version of the PS1, going on sale in December for about $150. It has both Final Fantasy VII and Wild Arms preloaded. I may be sold. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills. All my money goes straight to the bills. Phil's saying he's already got money earmarked in December for the PlayStation 1 Classic because he probably bought the NES Classic and the SNES Classic because they're collectibles. And we've seen his Nook and how it's full of collectibles that aren't even out and displayed. Yeah, just something to think about. Money's flowing right now, guys. King Tut is keeping this guy afloat. So he can think about spending $150 on something that he will probably never fucking use. Just look at. Continuing from off of what Nothing I Can Do said. This is from Samovsky, who's not Russian. Well, he's got to burn that excess money quick or he can't start begging again. What, you expect him to start saving something? What are you, some kind of detractor? And I kind of want to, also with Reentry Phantom here too, if DSP only goes out once a week, what the hell is he spending his money on? This is like the modern tree falling in the woods philosophical thought from Bruno Mattei. So, okay, stumbled over my words a little bit there, but we're going to keep going. It's an interesting point. Like, oh, I have a little bit of extra money. Should I maybe weasel that away in like a rainy day fund or something? Nope. I'm going to spend it right away on my PlayStation 1 Classic when that comes out in December. This is not exactly news, but it was a great post. This is from Noob. This is also following, since the DSP show has been so fucking boring lately, let's compile a list of all the things Phil Burnell has claimed about his past. He didn't take shit from anyone and beat up bullies that mess with him, was a bodybuilder, had to stop because he got too big and blew a blood vessel, was athletic and played football and basketball, was a thespian and acted in musicals, drank underage and smoked weed, was a complete badass and got into trouble and messed around with girls all the time. One randomly came up to him at a school dance and dragged him on the dance floor to grind all over him, all the while continuing to be the top of class and eventually valedictorian. Got rejected from Ivy League, according to him, based on his skin color, eventually secured a business degree, was loved and praised at both jobs he had, and was only fired due to bullshit. Also, he lived in the ghettos of Connecticut and spent a large amount of time hanging with his homeboys at the arcade at Street Fighter. Despite everything above, suffered from massive depression, was on a cocktail of drugs, stalked a girl, didn't think anyone truly liked him for who he was, the apparent athletic, smart, talented, funny, hot bod homie from the hood, Phil Burnell, thought about killing himself. It really is insane to think about how he actually expects people to believe all of this happened. If I missed anything, feel free to add on. Winner. Fantastic post. So this is just a sum up of Phil's life since high school, basically. Another Nothing I Can Do meme. You forgot he tried to join the Marines, was a top candidate for an office rank, did an interview, but later decided not to join. Based off his performance in Call of Duty, I'm glad we didn't have him serving our country. Imagine this. Private P. Burnell, I shot his foot 8 times, but he didn't die. Ack, ack. Like I said, I'm filling in the gaps here with some memes because there's not a whole lot of news. Dragoonism broke away from LTG to come watch some of the DSP shit. Piece of shit said, I joined Freedom Chat for 5 minutes, could not listen. I check in and every tip and cheer he got is about detractors and how stupid they are. Someone wrote his dad a letter about how bad he is, and someone called his old school to find out he really was valedictorian. Supposedly his dad knows everything his son is doing since Phil calls him once a week and tells him everything. He forgot the part about his dad prefers Detractor videos over his son's videos. Of course his old school didn't say if he was valedictorian, despite that supposedly being public information. It is not something they hand out to random people. And of course his couch is broken, he needs a special payload for his herniated disc that comes and goes. 1 hour pre-stream. Yeah, Wednesday, 1 hour pre-stream. And you're going to see that the love seat is going to start to turn into another point of begging. Speaking of the valedictorian stuff, Sparklator reveals, I did not call his school. That's blatant. That's a blatant, disgusting lie. I messaged them on Facebook. So Phil fills in the gaps. Phil. But he exaggerates everything to make it ridiculous. And he will continue to exaggerate forever. And the last good post on Wednesday from Actually Again, a lot of information here, but it's Phil talking about the claim that he made that he has DSP Gaming trademarked and that the people who make videos just like this video, guys, we're breaking copyright laws. We're breaking trademark laws. And Phil says, oh, but YouTube doesn't address this. They just say everything's fair use and let it go. Well, fair use is an acceptable part of copyright law. So and this is transformative. This is not any more transformative than Phil just going, oh, did you see that, while he's playing a video game with his face cam over it and a shitty overlay that he updates manually with subs and cheers. So, yeah. Actually, this isn't even anything that could break copyright, unless Kiwi Farms has a copyright, in which case I'm fucked. But it's a public forum, so this all has to be considered public domain, right? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the specifics of that. No one's told me to stop so far, but I should probably start to be a little bit more proactive and ask people for permissions and things like that. Hopefully that doesn't lead to the end of this video series. But it's Wednesday. Tomorrow is Ask the King. He only does this once every other month. So it's been 2 months since the last time. Let's see what's going on since he talked about depression. Thursday, September 20th, takes place on page 3510. And we're going to start off with Sedella fails at tweeting. They call me DSP, //YouTube/blah. I saw this on YouTube. I thought you might like it. The link didn't work for me from Joseph Schmeckelstein. That's got to be a troll name. The intelligence of this man is beyond my imagination. He has a link that he wants his idol /Pigroach to see, but he put DSP's name instead of HTTP, which resulted in a failed @ and a dead link. So he broke adding Phil and broke a link to make it to YouTube. Again, nothing I can do. Frequently featured here. And in case you were wondering, I'm probably going to use this for the title of the video. So if you look at the video, you're like, what are you talking about? Why, 10 million views? It's because DSP, this is from Her Clicks, I think the pig roach sanity has left the building. One huge piece of advice that I've learned the hard way: pick your battles. You will be wronged regularly in my case, but don't freak out over every missed opportunity. New ones will spring up if you keep at it, and don't focus on every single injustice against you. The more you know. Wow, he must be feeling really positive with all that King Tut money, because he's talking about, oh, I've missed all these other opportunities, but here's a fucking Saudi Arabian oil prince who's going to keep my business afloat. And then he adds to it to say, this tweet should get 10 million faves and retweets, but it won't get 100. Just take this nugget of wisdom and do well for yourself. I offer it up for free because I've learned a lot in the last few years, and this one has helped Lay a ton. Helped me a ton. Yeah, thanks, Phil, for giving us this random bit of knowledge, which I don't know how profound this is. This is like basic banal shit, just like his valedictorian speech. And I offered up for free because if I don't have the time to make a book, a self-help book to sell that. Could you imagine if Phil made a book and tried to sell it to us? Going off of the valedictorian stuff, Spark Latour also admitted to saying that hey, I talked to them on Facebook Messenger. I didn't talk to them on the phone. Then they posted the Facebook logs. Okay, but it is the product of a sick mind with no life, constantly harassing his poor school. So, don't harass the school, guys. But, yeah, that's there. So, according to, I mean, this is evidence enough for me to show that Phil was valedictorian. Here's an interesting speculation from Ratko Falco. Maybe he fucked the teachers to get valedictorian. Probably, hopefully not. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Who would want to fuck Phil? But if you go back and make all of his claims, he was hot and smart, and everyone wanted him. Now, this was something that shed some light on me from Malayas. In this thread, which this is the thread on Kiwi Farms about DSP's scholastic journey from valedictorian to boiling ramen in a Keurig and eating it with a spoon. The thread, the nature of high school and how you managed to become valedictorian is discussed in more detail. So we can go to this link too. In short, his private Catholic high school is entirely geared towards prepping promising athletes for future careers in college sports teams. So the student body fares very poorly in the academic rankings, but very highly in sports rankings and very highly in ethnic diversity rankings. Phil was just the smartest one in a student body of literal basketball Americans. So there you go. That's a reasonable explanation to how Phil made valedictorian. If you remember high school and thinking all your classes was filled with jocks who just got C's just to graduate, just so they can go play in college, yeah, every class was like that for Phil. Diction pokes his head out from Dragoonism. This is from Ton Fox. In the history of my YouTube channel, the least viewed videos are the ones with the least amount of progress made. That's why I don't want to just upload 50 episodes of me failing the same challenge over and over again. You're the anti-Darkside Phil. Because this guy said, I don't want to upload 50 times for me trying to do the same thing. Phil will upload his fucking same attempts, but also all his glitches, all his dead air. There's one from an older gameplay where he forgot to turn off the recording, so the video ran for like 20 minutes, and he didn't, trim it off in Windows Movie Maker and re-upload it or anything. And at the time, YouTube had an in-browser video editing thing where you could trim your video clips, the beginning and end of them. They got rid of that though. But he didn't even use that. He just puts in an annotation and says, oh, ignore the last 20 minutes of this video I left the recording on. Ultimate lazy. Those that don't know, Fox is a friend of Curious Gamers, Chilled Chaos, and The Royal Viking. I just picked up an Italian BMT on Italian herb and cheese from Subway. Does that make me more Italian than Dark Svidil? I used to like Dark Svidil, but then I developed a fully functioning prefrontal cortex. These are some good posts. Good post from Twitter. Phil revising history. Ken Dragoonism. He's showing up a lot this week. If you want him to answer your question on Ask the King for sure, you just have to tip him during the stream. Apparently he turned off comments on his YouTube videos because his fans asked him to. Yeah, his fans wanted to protect his feelings. I'm sure they were the ones that asked for it. Dragoonism again. Grabs the whole pre-stream and says it's a 55-minute pre-stream. If you guys want to see I can't read this whole fucking thing. There's no way. It's how to pay me money. I guess if you tip this month in September, you get a double perk. It was easier in the 80s to live the American dream. Yeah, there's a lot here. I just got lost in the wow. in the text. he hasn't watched his old material. I mean, it's crazy. Also from Dragoonism, this guy, he's a superhero for going in, watching Ask the King, and pointing out some of the questions. He doesn't want to see any reboot of some old movie franchises. He wants something original. Like himself, he wants movies and stories to stay stagnant. Huh? He learned Photoshop editing videos in Microsoft Office in high school, and it was his favorite subject. We can see on his edited videos that he loves PowerPoint. That's a joke about the pre-stream because it's literally just a slideshow that loops. Apparently, he can speak every language in the world because he studied Latin in school, which is the origin of every language in the world. He can't speak Latin, but he can break down any word in any other language, and he will know what it means. Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian are the only Latin languages in Europe. His rich vocabulary comes from classic English literature in high school and comic books. What rich vocabulary. I mean, he'll come out with a good word every once in a while, like nudnik. I think that's a real word. Hey, look, a pestering, nagging, or irritating person. Person. It's a real word. But it's like he has a freaking dictionary on the back of the toilet, and he flips through it and finds a word, and he's like, oh, maybe I should use that, and then my viewers will think I'm smart. And of course, okay, this is Ask the King. Now, I could give Phil the benefit of the doubt if he's in the middle of the game and they ask a question like, what is the worst game you've ever played? And you're like, oh man, I got a couple I could think of. But on Ask the King, where you have the questions to review beforehand to come up with your answers, Phil says, I can't come up with one. Let's see what chat is saying. Unbelievable that he couldn't have a canned answer ready for that question when he got in there. He literally just does the shit on the fly. There is no prep work for anything that he does. Ultimate laziness. Again, I think this is Dragoon. Oh, Surly Muppet this time. Street Fighter V gameplay with Sagat. Shows how much of a scrub and bad player is. Jesus Christ, this is hard to watch. That was Ratko Falcon being quoted. Phil's now shitting himself and making his clown noises because he finally got matched with the legendary Abigail, which is someone who's not played at the high tier or the low tier, and Phil would not play her because he doesn't know how to play against her. I don't know. Now the I have never even seen his model meme can finally end, and we can hear for 2 weeks how we finally saw one. He got bodied, and he is now saying that Abigail's not a Street Fighter character, whatever the fuck that means in his potato world. So yeah, to round up probably 2 hours of Street Fighter V gameplay. Yeah, I think he lost most of them. Oh, so there's a Chun-Li that he apparently regularly queues into, and he doesn't know how to beat him. He thinks she's trolling him, when it's probably just someone trying to climb up the ladder at the same time that he is. And he actually tries to blacklist the player. But I don't think he figures out how to do it, because this Chun-Li shows up later. Oh, a special shout out to King Tut. I also love how many times he has optimistically mentioned Tut tonight. Someone cheered with a shout out to Tut, and Phil was like, shout out to Tut. He hasn't come by tonight. Unless, is he here now? No, he isn't. Oh, well, shout out to Tut. Come on, Tut, light up that leaderboard. Phil's working hard tonight. He's playing Street Fighter V. Come on. Oh, and then right underneath from Nothing I Can Do, to Ask the Pig, you have to be a horse. I'm now accepting questions for today's episode of Ask the King. Post up here on Twitter for a chance to get your question answered. Hi, Phil, will you marry me? Sorry, lady, you need to look more like a horse. And another great meme picture, which I think I put in last week's. And then this is some good advice from Actually. I really don't know how to feel about these daily mentions of Tut. It's sad, cringe, bizarre, desperate, and gross all at the same time. Until Tut, the only way for a fan to get this many shoutouts was moving in with him. And actually, you could drill all of this down to just laugh. Phil has become everything he claims to hate. He begs for cheers, subs, and tips on the regular. He jumps when Tut says jump, and he's constantly looking at Tut because he knows in that void where a heart and brain should be that his Twitch isn't actually growing. Sure, his take-home has actually gone up, and that's basically due to a rotation of whales that have happened to show up at the right times. Even Phil knows that it's unlikely to go on for long, much less long enough that he can actually be set up for life. He's in a mess of his own making and knows it, and Tut's got him by the blueberry-sized testicles at this point, because Tut has provided 40% of Phil's Twitch income this month so far between gifted subs and tips. 40% of Phil's income is carried by one person. How sad is that? And that wraps up Thursday, the special Ask the King edition. It was a 4-hour podcast, and we won't hear from it until November, unless Phil kills that series too, just like the weekend preview. Friday, September 21st. I only have a handful of links, so this one will be pretty quick, just like Tuesday was. Phil claims Washington State was the last one to join the union, so the infrastructure is amazing. Meaning the roads and bridges are everything are in good condition. Who was it? That was 129 years ago. Yeah, roads are going to hold up 129 years later. They didn't have fucking cars 129 years ago. What a fucking idiot. Unbelievable. Just so fucking funny. His internet went down. Is it a snorting treatment appointment? The premiere stream of Max Payne was great. Unfortunately, my internet went down as soon as it ended, so I cannot currently upload the gameplay. So that means both internet lines are down. I have an appointment I have to head to, but I will upload the vids later tonight when I return. Sorry for the delay. Business class internet. I came to snort at you. Now, I don't know. He says appointment, so that could be hair, that could be doctor, that could be cat's doctor. Don't know. Could be with his tax attorney. Who knows? But appointments are usually for doctors or dentists or something like that. But Phil was so nutso. Update on my internet status. The earliest Comcast can get here is early Sunday morning. I'm off from streaming on Saturday. Hey guys, did you know he's off on Saturdays? He doesn't just say it every time. You know, when you look at his schedule and... he doesn't have this week filled out the rest of the way. Here, let me show you. Let me show you. What the hell? Why does he have the... that's from the pin. You know what? Fuck it. Cut all this out. Just in case you guys didn't know, he takes Saturdays off. Because he says that every single fucking Saturday. But that means I won't be able to upload Max Payne for the YouTube viewers. I apologize. Yeah, because everyone's fucking clamoring to see fucking Max Payne. Which I don't think that's a new game. I don't follow that game series particularly. I again say this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen happen to my internet because it's both my modems and the phone. My neighbors have internet. It's as if someone just went outside and snipped my cable line or something. And we'll have Morticia do that for us. Yeah, because anytime his internet goes out, it's a fucking target against him. Remember when his internet went out in July? And he did an hour and a half fucking not pre-stream, but IRL stream. He talked about, oh, well, I think it's people targeting me. I think it's a DDoS attack. I don't know how they got my IP address. Despite people showing him the map that I pulled up on Comcast's site that shows that there's an outage in the Seattle area. And he's like, well, I don't live in Seattle. I didn't say Seattle. I said the Seattle area. It's Seattle and the surrounding suburbs. You fucking nudnik? Well, I guess nudnik doesn't really fit in there, but you fucking idiot. So, again, he's still turning the lack of internet. Anytime his internet goes down, it's the detractors. Immediately. Every time. The solution to this was a thing called an amplifier that he had to plug back in the wall in his bedroom. I've never had an amplifier in any of the places I've been with Comcast internet, so I can't... And apparently it's not a super common thing. But for fuck's sake, why didn't you check all the cables before you called in to tech support? And he's like, oh, I didn't know it was there, and they couldn't tell me it was there to check it. Still trying to shift the blame onto fucking Comcast. Oh, shit. That's all that happened Friday. Yeah, he plays Max Payne, can't upload it, and his internet's out. And he's already playing it on Detractors. Saturday, September 22nd, takes place on page 3516. This is a post from Actually... It's highlighting the same tweet I showed you guys on Friday. But again, hey, I'm off on Saturday. But again, Max Payne isn't a new game. And Sidell even points out, no one's fucking waiting for your Max Payne upload. And if it's really that big a deal, leave the Twitch VODs up. That's the only thing. But man, when Sidella has the reasonable response, it's time to pack up. This is from Phil's Twitter. Had a great day off today. Hey, did you know he's off on Saturdays? He's only not mentioned it in every tweet that's happened on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still don't have internet, but a Comcast tech should be here between 8 and 10. So I should still be streaming. Wonderful. This is from Kebab for You, Pot Meat Kettle. If a game dev can only operate through crazy licensing deals and insanely rushed products, in the hopes it will finally get a big sales break to stop a constantly rolling wave of debt, that company is not sound. And employees had no idea that's what was going on either. So awful. This is talking about the Telltale Games going under, but no self-awareness. If a streamer can only operate through crazy awesome games being released and insanely lazy YouTube videos in the hopes it will finally get a King Tut to stop a wave of debt, that streamer is not sound. And the fans had no idea that's what's going on either. Because the fans are the employees in this metaphor. I'm going to touch on this very briefly. And I actually had to redo this part because I didn't ask Secret Life if I can talk about his situation. I have talked to him on the side. I wanted to just let you guys know he's okay. When I saw him saying, bye everyone, and then delete everything, that kind of struck me in the heart is like, oh God, I hope he's not about to like off himself. He's okay. That's all I'm going to say is he's okay. He doesn't owe us anything. We should be thankful that he gave us the videos. And if he wants to do other things, that's on him. If he wants to take a break, that's fine. Because as I've talked about this week and the week before and the week before that, Phil has gotten very boring and very formulaic. So if he wants to go focus on other projects, hey, wonderful. Phil will probably still be here when he comes back. And we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot, but it's only been a couple days. But it looks like we have great respect for each other. I love his editing work, but he says that he likes what I do. So I'm going to keep doing a lot of this and hope that I have his blessing to even reveal that much information. So yeah, he's fine, just not focusing on DSP. And that's all I'm going to say on that. You guys remember on July 25th when he had the phone stream where he lost his internet? And then it happened again on June 27th. His internet's garbage. But these last two times he made it a fucking emergency. Now it's, well, I got King Tut money. I don't have to worry about losing my internet and losing my ability to make any money. And then Kiwi Farms kind of speculates, this is from Slenderman, I'm going to say Phil took the horse out to Seattle for a little staycation thanks to Tut's stolen money. Because maybe King Tut stole the credit cards, who knows. He ran off and forgot to upload his videos like a moron and had to come up with the most autistic excuse imaginable to explain it so that his pay pigs won't ask any questions. Very good point. If the files are on his computer and he didn't upload them and he won't be back until Sunday, makes sense. The movie he watched was in the comfort of a 600 a night suite dead in the middle of the city. Yeah, he watched a movie in the middle of the night, but he did this before where he would go out with Leanna to hotels and have stacks of anime movies and comic book movies to watch. Like, nice. You're just taking a vacation to a hotel. Actually, that doesn't sound the worst thing to do. If you just need a change of scenery from your apartment. Checkout is usually 11 a.m. when the cable man is supposed to show up at the Gout Mansion, 10 a.m. So, yeah, hey, supposedly everything lines up. I suppose if someone were autistic enough to call some hotels and ask for Phil Burnell's room, they might catch him in this lie. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to do that. Oh, today I found a bunch of Halloween decorations for the office for October. I'll probably be picking up some of them in the next few weeks. Happy autumn. I have no disposable income, dudes. So he's really just spending all this Tut money. And what's funny is he's like making it obvious and subtly known that he's spending the money. Staycation, okay, he doesn't want everyone to know that he took a vacation, but Kat probably wanted to get out of the Gout Mansion. Don't blame her. But now he's talking about, I want a PS1 Classic. I bought Halloween decorations. So it makes sense for King Tut, if he is a troll, that, oh, Phil's upped his expected budget from people. Well, time for me to pull the rug out from under him. Maybe. It's only been a month. Maybe that's too early. Who knows? Sunday, September 23rd, page 3518. From his Twitter again, Comcast has an amplifier. I talked about this already, so I guess I spoiled this. But it's a small black alternating current adapter that must be plugged into the wall for service to work. Mine was loose for the first time in 4 years and hidden in my bedroom. Why didn't the person on the phone Friday know about this? Simple as hell, LOL. Yeah, simple. Simple enough that maybe a pig roach should have been able to figure it out, but he couldn't. He had to call a technician to come and plug it in. I wonder what he did in the bedroom that caused him to knock this adapter loose for the first time in 4 years. This was a great comment from Agent Smith, screen cap from the YouTube. I'm from Mexico, and thanks to DSP and his vast vocabulary, I've been able to learn to beg for money in English. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, but all those are tax write-offs there for the business, dude. It's pretty fucking funny. How did the amplifier get loose? So I kind of stole that idea from Sparklator. Something must have happened in the bedroom to somehow shake that plug loose. Something that hadn't happened for the last 4 years. Was that Kat and Phil's first time having sex over the weekend? Telltale can't take people's money first and not give them the product that they paid for. Phil today. I will do the DSP tries it. I promised when and if I have something interesting to do with it. Oh, Phil, a week ago. Boy, Phil, you should stop talking about this because it's really sounding like a lot of projection. Yeah, you gave me money to do a DSP tries it, but I don't know if I'll even be able to find anything worthwhile to make a DSP tries it with. I don't owe you anything. Oh, but you can't take money and not have the product that they paid for. Bashing on Telltale Games. This is why he's such a shitty gamer and shitty to the community. He treats his fans like shit, and then he treats other developers like shit. Unbelievable. I agree. And then just to let you guys know how good the Sunday stream was from They Call It NPD. All 280 of Phil's viewers are watching him get stuck on a Tomb Raider puzzle for over half an hour while he complains that it's tedious and boring and he's not having any fun. He's in the mode where Laura tells you how to solve the puzzle. What a great streamer. Not listening to his audio that he doesn't know how to adjust. And this is the thing, we talked about this on my stream. Phil just rushes through everything and he doesn't even read dialogues or tutorials or anything. And he probably took his phone out either on a break or on camera to find the solution to the puzzle and was probably reading chat a lot because chat was probably like, holy shit, get past this puzzle. And guys, that does it for this week in DSP. I'm sorry for my voice cracking in and out there, and I'm sorry for it being a day late, but Rocky decided to get into literal shit yesterday. So I spent all evening scrubbing him like 3 or 4 times until I couldn't smell it anymore. So sorry about that, but hope this video finds you guys well. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next week where I am planning on another week in DSP and streaming again. So take it easy. Have a good rest of your day or night, and I'll talk to you soon.